Los Angeles of California is the global hub for film and international business. After Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Dhaka, Rajulo has inaugurated its fourth branch in the Little Bangladesh area near downtown Los Angeles. The office is located on the 12th floor of Central Plaza on Wilshire Boulevard. Rajulo is a full-service immigration law firm providing American immigration support all over the world through Google's state-of-the-art cloud technology. We stand out with a dedicated team of 7 accomplished attorneys and over 100 law clerks and case managers. Rajulo is your trustworthy destination for 100% accurate and reliable immigration service, ensuring your data security and peace of mind regardless of your location. We are proud to announce that our success rate is above 99%. To learn more about our Los Angeles branch, please contact the address and phone number shown on the screen.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly live session with attorney Raju Mahajan and Associates. For today's show, I'm your host 𝗦𝘂𝐻𝐿, and with that, let's welcome our principal guest, none other than the founder and the principal attorney, Mr. Raju Mahajan. Mr. Mahajan, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I welcome everybody in our today's show.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. Today's topic is on a very important matter that involves the nationals of Afghanistan. That is Special Immigrant Visa for Afghan Nationals, SIVA. Mr. Mahajan, please share your thoughts on this topic.
Thank you very much. Yes, today's discussion is very dedicated for the people of Afghanistan who either currently living in America or living in a foreign country or in Afghanistan at this moment. So I know, like many other people, they will feel like, oh, this is not a topic for us, but it is always good to know about some new immigration things. So either, your friends or family member may be eligible for this. I would like to see the PowerPoint. Thank you. So this is the topic for our discussion, a special immigrant visa for Afghan nationals. In short, it is SIVA. Next slide, please. So in short, what are the eligibility? Like who are qualified under this SIVA program? So Afghan nationals are eligible for the SIV program when they, number one, were previously employed directly by the US government in Afghanistan or employed with company that had a contract or subcontract with the US government in Afghanistan. Meaning you must be an employee of American government either directly or indirectly through a private company with contract or subcontract. And this American government work includes both civilian work and military work. So either you are employed by US Army or American civil government, both categories are covered under SIV program. Also, you worked for the qualifying employer for at least 1 year. So this is a very significant development since last time, because previously it was 2 years. Now it's only 1 year between October 7, 2001 and December 31st, 2023. So this is a very good, it's long period. So it's still, if you're still employed by American government, you will still qualify for SIV program. Now it's, excuse me, October, so until December 31st, 2023. Also, if you face threats to safety because of their employment with US government, or is the surviving spouse or child of a former US government employee who had submitted an application for Chief of Missions approval. So not only government employees, but also their family members qualify for SIV program. Next slide, please. All right, so how to apply for SIV? What are the steps? Number one, first, you have to submit an application for Chief of Missions approval by emailing the following documents to, here is the email address. So, it's like a Afghan SIVA application at state.gov. So what documents you have to submit with initial application to Chief of Mission? Number one, you have to complete form DS 157. So this 157 is a form that will kind of establish all the eligibility requirements. So you have to give your employment history, your biographic history, your connection with American government, kind of thing. So it's just a detailed form. Try your best to complete the DS 157 form as detailed as possible. Try to answer all the questions properly. Also, a copy of passport or tazkera. Tazkera is like an Afghan national ID card kind of thing. So either if you have a passport or a tazkera that works, biographic data, a copy of employee badge if available. In a lot of like position, especially in military position, you get a badge. If you have any kind of badge or any kind of ID card issued by American government or contractors or subcontractors, please copy attach a copy of that badge. Letter from employer's human resource department. Get a letter from your HR department. Letter of recommendation or evaluation from your direct supervisor or somebody who is in charge right now, kind of thing. That will work. If you do not have communication with your direct supervisor, sometime supervisor changes, so contact the right person currently. Also, a statement of threats received due to employment with the US government. So a lot of people who in Afghanistan who work for American government get like a threats from local community and other organizations, terrorist organizations. So if you receive any kind of threat or any kind of situation that is that is harmful for you or your family, you can write a statement of that threat, and in most cases try to notarize it before submitting it with the application. In case if you cannot notarize, that's okay. Try your best to submit as detailed as possible with the application form DS-157. Next slide, please. All right. So after you submit the 157 form to the Chief of Missions Office, then you have to file I-360 petition with USCIS. Send the email to, there's another email address. I'm not going to read it, just, it is here in this slide. After attaching all supporting document and the form into one email. So, in one email, attach all the forms and all the supporting documents and try to make it like a one single PDF. That kind of help you, help the employee of the USCIS who is processing your case to download as one file. They can easily print it. Everything would be in one order. So it's always good to combine everything and submit as one single PDF. With that application I-360, complete also DS-260 visa application form. And then after you submit everything, they will call you for interview and complete the security checks. So they will call you for interview, and then they will complete the security checks. And then after everything, they will issue your visa, and then you can travel to America. In many cases, SIV applicants has been evacuated to third countries prior to issuance of the visa. So a lot of time, if they can directly bring you to America, they will. If they cannot directly bring you to America, sometimes they may take you to some third countries. And in the third countries, you will be under American supervision, and your application will be processed, and later you will be brought to America. Next slide, please. Timeline. All right, so there is no fixed timeline because sometimes these applications are very complex. It takes a lot of time to check background and other kind of things. But one thing is for sure, that American government is prioritizing Afghan nationals because they did tremendous job helping American government. So even though there is no fixed timeline, but they're trying their best to expedite the process. So short answer, no timeline. Next slide, please. Supporting documents. So the question is, what supporting document you may need to apply when you apply for SIV program? Number one, you have to support proof of employment, any and all kind of employment proof. That can be contract, the contract you had with the American government, any kind of letter, any kind of picture. Even a lot of time, you may have picture with your American counterpart, any kind of video document, any kind of certificate, any kind of evaluation report, or any kind of proof of employment. That is going to help you. Identification document. If you have passport or other kind of identification that will establish that you are Afghan national, because SIV program is specifically designed for the Afghan people. So let's say you are employed in Afghanistan, you are helping American government, but you are not an Afghan national. In that case, you will not qualify under this program. I get this email all the time. A lot of people, they say, hey, I'm from Bangladesh, or I'm from Pakistan, or I'm from India. I worked in Afghanistan helping American government, either in US military or US civil government. Am I eligible for SIV program? The answer is no. You are not qualified for SIV program. You have to be an Afghan national to be qualified under SIV program. So your identification documents are really, really important. Biographical information, try your best to submit and all details as much as you can. Your birth certificate, any school you attended, any job you did, like any education you had, try your best to give all the information. The more information you provide to the USCIS is good for your application. So I advise always to submit more information rather than less information. And then family relationship documents. If you are married, if you have a spouse, if you have children, try to put their name and any kind of document like your children's birth certificate, marriage certificate with your spouse. Try to provide all information related to your family. Medical examination record by approved doctors. So in some cases, for American immigration, you need to establish that you do not have some disease that are a threat for American public health. Like if you have contagious kind of disease that easily spreadable among the community, then there's a public safety rule that will bar you to come to America. So you must have a medical examination by a approved doctor. Not all doctors are eligible for medical examination. It must be approved doctor. Also, proof of threat of persecution. So one of the major requirement, one of the basic requirements is that because of your service to American government, you are getting threat from your community, so you have to have some kind of proof. Just one thing I must say here: if you do not have any kind of proof, sometime let's say somebody called you or somebody met you in the street and gave you threat, you do not have any evidence, which is okay. Just write a statement as affidavit, sign it in front of a notary, and submit with your application. If there is no other evidence, your statement will be accepted as evidence. Also, any other kind of document that will make you eligible for SIV program, you can also submit everything. That's like a kind of other category, which is kind of like a catch-all kind of categories. Next slide, please. All right. So there are some bars for getting SIV approval. Number one, security concern. If in your background check, if they find that you will be threat for American safety or security, then they may not give you SIV approval. Criminal history. If you have criminal history, if it's like a minor, petty crime kind of history, they may ignore it. But if it's like a major crime, like murder, rape, or like a major kind of crime, then they may not approve your SIV application. Fraud or misrepresentation. This is probably the most common. In many cases, not only from Afghanistan, from all over the world, for some reason, people provide wrong information, false and misleading information to American government. If they can find that you provided, false or misleading information, you did fraud or misrepresentation, they are not going to approve your SIV application. So I strongly advise you not to provide any false or misleading information. Also, health-related grounds, as I said, if there is certain kind of disease that is easily spreadable among the community, they may not approve it. But this is very less common. Nowadays, there is remedy for pretty much all kind of disease. Okay, by the way, a lot of people email me, is COVID under this disease? The answer is no. Even though COVID is like a infectious disease, even if you're COVID positive or you had been COVID positive, you can easily get SIV approved and come to America. There's no problem with COVID. Next slide, please. After denial. So, when you apply for SIV, if you get it approved, that's great. You're coming to America, and within a very short time, you'll get green card, and eventually you become citizen. What if your application got denial? Then what do you do? There are two major options. Number one, reconsideration or appeal. In many cases, once your application get denied, you can apply for reconsideration or reopen. In some cases, reopen, and then you can also apply for appeal. So it depends on the situation. It depends on the grounds of denial. As soon as you get denial letter, I advise you to contact immigration attorney and say, hey, I applied for SIV program. I got denied. What should I do? They will advise you whether you're qualified for reconsideration or appeal, or what should be the procedure. They will advise you. In some cases, I tell my clients that instead of reconsideration or appeal, why not you reapply? Because in your previous application, you did not provide enough information, enough documents. Now you have some new information, new document. How about you provide all this information and submit a reapplication with a note that you previously applied and your application got denied. Sometimes this reapplication works. Sometimes reconsideration, reopen or appeal works, depending on the situation. So it basically depends on your denial letter. Whatever reason they're showing in your denial letter, that will help you, help us to understand what is the appropriate action based on that. If there is no reason mentioned in your application, there is one application called FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Under FOIA, you can apply to know get the copy of your background check that American government did for you. In the FOIA application, you will see if they have if the American government have any kind of wrong information, false information, anything about you, or if your background check come up with some kind of red flag or yellow flag. So based on your FOIA application, we can also determine whether you will be qualified for reapplication, reconsideration, or appeal kind of situation. So bottom line, it depends on the reason for denial. Next slide, please. All right, benefits. So SIV recipients get a lot of benefits. SIV recipients are eligible for the same resettlement assistance and other benefit as refugees admitted under USRAP program. So basically, as soon as your SIV application get approved, you will get the status of a refugee. And refugees get like a lot of benefits from American government, including getting a green card. So once your SIV application is approved, you may apply for a lot of American public benefits, which is available for refugees. Next slide, please. All right, as I said, once your SIV application got approved, you will be qualified for a green card application. Once you apply the green card, your green card application will be approved. And then usually after 5 years, you'll be eligible to apply for citizenship, and then you become an American citizen. So SIV is one of the very special kind of visa application for Afghan nationals to get American green card and citizenship with a very short time, because you helped American government in their need, they are going to pay back you for your service. Next slide, please. All right, that was our presentation on SIV. If any of you have any question about SIV, you can ask me now or in future. We're happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahajan, for this informative discussion. I'm sure all of us are now more knowledgeable on this issue than we were before it. In the meantime, we have received some questions. The first one is from Ms. Shaila Akhtar. She asks, when can I drop my study if my husband apply for EB2 NIW? Currently, I am an F1 student and my husband is F2. If my husband will be the main applicant for EB2 NIW, then when can I drop my study? When can I stop paying my tuition fee?
Thank you very much. This is a very good question. I get this question all the time. So remember, NIW application has 2 steps. The first one is called I-140 and the second one is called I-485. Once your husband apply for I-140, you still have to continue your education. Your husband still need to continue all the rules and regulations and requirements for F2 status, because I-140 does not give you any benefit, no requirements, nothing. Like I-140 has no status at all. Once your I-140 is approved, and then you have to follow the visa bulletin when you will be allowed to apply for I-485. Once you apply for I-485, receive the receipt notice, only then you can stop enrolling for as an international student, stop paying tuition fee to the school. So short answer to your question, once you apply for I-485, which is the second part of NIW application, only then you'll be able to quit your school and stay under I-485 status. Until then, you have no status under NIW. You have to continue as a F1 and your husband must continue as F2.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. We have received some additional questions as well. Dr. Nurul Islam, along with Dr. Milan Kumar and Walul Isma, many ask that many clients which rates our firm approval chances as medium would refund a percentage of our service fee if my I-140 petition isn't approved.
So anytime in our evaluation, if we say that your approval chance is medium, we do not offer any refund policy. So for our NIW application, we have 3 policies. One is like a 100% refund, 50% refund, and no refund at all. So if we determine that your approval chance is 95% or more, in that case, we offer 100% refund policy. Anytime we see that the chances are between, like, let's say 85 to 95, then we offer 50% money back guarantee. And anytime it comes like below 85%, so let's say 80% or 70%, 75%, in those scenarios we do not offer any money back guarantee. Meaning, if your application get rejected, you will not get any money back from our attorney fees. However, in any situation, if you want to reapply, and if we see that we do not need to do any extra work, we can just reapply, with all the information and facts available to us, we just reapply with the previous petition. We do not charge any additional fee. However, if there is any additional work we need to do before any reapplication, we will charge you some extra money. Now, the question is how much extra we'll charge. It depends on how much extra work we have to do. It is very hard to say upfront. So what happens is, let's say you evaluated through us, you got like, let's say 80% chance. You submit your application through us, and let's say, worst case scenario, your luck is not good enough, your application got denied. And then we only have to, let's say, change a few paragraph of a 1 page or 2 page kind of thing. We'll probably charge like a $200, $300 kind of dollar to do that. Not a lot of money. So it depends on how much extra work we have to do in reapplication. If we do not need to do any extra work, we'll not charge you any extra money. That's kind of like the very basic fee structure for NIW application.
Thank you. I hope that answers your queries, Dr. Noor Islam. We have another question from Dr. Milan Kumar. If my NIW petition is rated medium by your firm, should I apply? Please advise honestly, what's the success rate for a medium chance in your firm?
It's very hard for me to tell you what to do because medium means medium. So usually I say like a 75% or 80% chance of getting approval. Now the question is, should you apply in this situation? It depends on many factors. In most cases, it depends on your financial factor. So let's say, I charge $5,000 for attorney fee, plus there's a USCIS fee of $700, and then there's a FedEx shipping fee for like, let's say $20 or $25. So if you think that this $5,700, yes, I can take some risk. It's 80% chance. So 80% chance that my application would get approved, 20% chance that my application will be denied. $5,700 is not a big deal for me. Let's take a chance. If I can green card, that's awesome. If I don't get green card, that's okay. Then go ahead, do it. On the other hand, if you think that $5,700 is a lot of money for me, I cannot afford losing this money. In that case, I advise you not to apply, because this is a risk you're going to taking, knowing all the facts. So if you say honestly advise what I should do, it depends on your background. It depends on your mostly financial background and other kind of background, how tolerant you are to take risk in this kind of situation. So it basically depends on you. It's very hard for me to say what you should do.
We have another question from Mr. Russell Hassan. Can I simultaneously pursue my asylum case and EB2 or EB3 applications? If my EB2 is approved, can I withdraw my asylum application, assuming it hasn't received any decision from any US court?
This is another very common question I get all the time. So anytime you apply for asylum, after asylum application, whether you will be able to apply for EB2, EB3, or any other kind of visa, that depends on two factors. Number one, when you applied for asylum, you were in status. Your status was not out of status, meaning you did not go beyond your valid stay period here in America. Let me give you an example. Let's say you came to America with a B1, B2 visa. So with a B1, B2 visa, at one time you were allowed to stay 6 months. If you apply for asylum within these 6 months, then later you can apply for EB2 NIW or EB3 or other kind of visa, no problem at all. However, if you go beyond your 6 months period, if you go out of status, and then if you apply for asylum, you can still apply for asylum. There's no problem with that. You can still get asylum approval, asylum case approved. There's no problem with that. However, if you apply for asylum beyond your valid stay period, then you will not be able to apply for NIW, EB2, or like EB3 kind of visa. The second requirement is when you apply for EB2, NIW, or other kind of visa, your asylum application did not get denied from any court. So if you meet these two requirements, number one, you are in valid status, your asylum case was still pending. If you meet these two requirements, then yes, you can apply for EB2, EB3, or any other kind of applications. You have to remember another thing. Anytime you apply for EB2 or EB3, it doesn't automatically grant you any status. In most cases, as I said previously, when you apply for NIW, when you apply for I-140, I-140 does not give you any status. You have to maintain your own status, meaning in this case, asylum application is going to give you a status. So continue asylum application until you receive the green card in your hand. Just because you applied for NIW's first part, or EB3 is like PERM or the second part, doesn't mean that you're going to get green card. Unless and until you receive the green card in your hand, keep your asylum application pending. And once you receive the green card, only then withdraw your asylum application. I believe I answered your question properly. If you have any other question, please feel free to ask me.
I hope that answers your question, Mr. Russell Hassan. We have another questions from Mr. 𝗓𝐲𝐻𝐆. I have recently received B1, B2 with my wife. Want to change status to F1. Is it advisable to convert inside USA or go through consular processing in home country?
In short, I advise to change your status from B1, B2 to F1 here in within America, because there's a premium processing and process takes very short time and approval rate is very high. However, to answer your question, I have another question to you. Once you are in America under B1, B2 visa, do you think you have to go back to your home country within a very short time, like within next 6 months or one year for any purpose? If you do need to go back to your home country for any purpose, then I advise you to go back to your home country, apply for a student visa through embassy, like consular processing, get F1 visa stamp, come back to America with the F1 visa. Because even you are changing your status from B1, B2 to F1 from within America, if you go back to any other country, once you try to come back, you have to have a valid F1 status, because no American agency is allowed to issue visa stamp in your passport from within America. Even though your status get changed from B1, B2 to F1 from America within America, it's just a change of status. It's not a valid visa. Anytime you try to cross the border, like a airport or anything, you have to have a valid visa. So short answer to your question, if you think you do not need to go back to your home country for any reason within next 1 year, then you can change off your status from B1, B2 to F1 from within America, because it would be shorter, chance of approval is very high, and the process is very easy. However, if you think you need to go back to your home country for some family reason or other thing within next 1 year, then I advise you to go back to your home country, apply for a student visa separately, follow the consular process, get visa stamp, and come back to America.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Shazim. Our next question is from Mr. Abdullah Razi. We are F4 visa candidates. In 2020, we submitted fees and documents to the NVC. Due to the pandemic, the visa bulletin hasn't changed for 24 months. With an outdated priority date, we have waited 2 years for an interview. This could lead to aging out without CSPA benefits and possibly prevent us from joining our parents. Please advise.
You have nothing to do. If your priority date is not current in visa bulletin, then you cannot move, your application will not move forward. There's nothing you can do at this moment. I know this is a very bad situation for a lot of people, especially adult children. They will age out. A lot of people will cross 21-year age. I totally understand. This is a sad situation, but there's nothing you can do other than just waiting and hoping that your priority date will be present in visa bulletin. So just wait and see. There's nothing to do.
We have another question, Mr. 𝗓𝐲𝐻𝐆 Hassan. How can I open a US bank account for my E2 visa without visiting the USA? I have a UAE business and I want to transfer funds to my US account. Mention that I don't have a US visa.
Yes, so you can still open American bank account from foreign country like Bangladesh. Some US banks allow that. So I advise you to check website of each American bank and see which bank will allow that. Recently, one Bangladeshi company is called, I think, Pryo, Pryo. So I think pryo.com. If you visit their website, they recently offered a way to open American bank account from Bangladesh. I do not know details about that. I advise you to contact Pryo. I don't know their full name. And then you can see what they're offering. But it depends on American banks and foreign corporations. So let's say Standard Chartered Bank in Bangladesh or HSBC Bank in Bangladesh. Go talk to them. They may have some option because they have branches here in America. So let's say Standard Chartered Bank may help you in Bangladesh to open a bank account in Standard Chartered Bank's American branch. So it depends on the institute. It depends on different companies. You have to go find it by yourself.
Hope that answers your question, Mr. 𝗓𝐲𝐻𝐆 Hassan. With that, we have no more questions coming in. Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. Is there any important immigration update this week?
Yes, there are some important immigration updates, especially for people of Afghanistan. Let me go read this. So Department of State notice with information on how to apply for the diversity. Okay, by the way, so diversity visa program for 2025 is going to be launched very soon. I know Bangladesh is not in that list, so anybody who are from the countries that is within DV lotteries list, you can start the process now because it's going to be started very soon. Fee exemption and expedite process for Afghans. USCIS announced that it is extending and expanding the filing fee exemptions and expedited application process for certain Afghan nationals through September 30 to 2024. So this is the old news. This is already October. The notice. Yes, I think this is the old news. Sorry about that. Okay, asylum. For asylum applicants, there are some news. USCIS issued filing tips and notes that it is currently receiving increased number of paper filed Form I-589 that must be rejected because they are incomplete or improperly filed. As such, it provides filing tips to help prevent this rejection. So a lot of asylum applications, especially paper-based asylum applications, are getting rejected because they are incomplete or improperly filed. So that's why, like, US congressional leaders are giving some tips how to do that. So those who are filing for asylum, I advise you to follow all the file your forms properly and provide all the information required. So that was our news for today.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan, for today's live session. I'm sure our audiences have enjoyed this session thoroughly. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We will see you next week at the same time. Thank you.
Los Angeles of California is the global hub for film and international business. After Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Dhaka, 𝗓𝐬𝐻𝐿 has inaugurated its 4th branch in the Little Bangladesh area near downtown Los Angeles. The office is located on the 12th floor of Central Plaza on Wilshire Boulevard. 𝗓𝐬𝐻𝐿 is a full-service immigration law firm providing American immigration support all over the world through Google's state-of-the-art cloud technology. We stand out with a dedicated team of 7 accomplished attorneys and over 100 law clerks and case managers. 𝗓𝐬𝐻𝐿 is your trustworthy destination for 100% accurate and reliable immigration service, ensuring your data security and peace of mind regardless of your location. We are proud to announce that our success rate is above 99%. To learn more about our Los Angeles branch, please contact the address and phone number shown on the screen.